Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is a cool, crisp evening here in Minneapolis tonight. The Tigers begin a 6-game road trip right here against the Twins, and a check of the standings in the Central. Well, that's more like it. The Tigers a game-and-a-half lead over KC. Cleveland 6.5 back. The Tigers trying to get a little bit closer to a Central Division title. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us here for Game 1 in this series. And Rod, a 3-game sweep over the weekend of the Cleveland Indians. Now the Tigers starting to play like we figured they would down the stretch.
Well, better late than never. That much is for certain. I just love September baseball, especially when your squad is right in the thick of things. Tigers are finally playing the kind of baseball that many people out there felt like they really should have been playing all season long.
All right, now there are a lot of reasons why the Tigers are playing a little bit better. Certainly the middle of the lineup, the 3, 4, and 5 guys in the month of September, man, they've been tearing it up.
Well, when you start talking about Miguel Cabrera, he's the one guy that we really have not been talking all that much about. But look at what Miggy has done in the month of September. 420 with 5 homers, 10 RBIs. But all we're talking about is Victor these days and J.D. Martinez, and rightfully so. These guys have flat out been getting it done. But what does that say about Miguel Cabrera? No one's even talking about Miggy, and this guy's been leading the way. He has set the bar awfully high.
All right, now there have been times this year where the Tigers just have not played well defensively. That has changed down here the stretch, and they're starting to look like this is a team that can play some pretty good defense, and they're going to have to do it to get to the postseason.
Well, when you start talking about championship caliber teams, you have to catch the baseball, and where you really have to catch the baseball, you have to catch it up the middle. Rajay Davis made real nice plays over the weekend in center field, and then you add in Kinsler at that second base position. He's also up the middle. He's made nice plays all year. Andrew Romine, he's gotten lots of reps in the last week, and he's been stellar at the shortstop position. And the biggest play made defensively may have been the play that Torrey Hunter made over the weekend. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. The game was in the balance at that particular time. Jabba was on the mound, and Torrey Hunter was able to flash some leather. So I just love the way the makeup of the team is right now. I think the guys are playing with a lot of energy, and that's what they should be doing.
All right, and here's another reason why the Tigers are feeling good about their chances tonight. Maxwell Scherzer, he's on the hill for the Tigers. He's been a really good matchup for the Tigers against this Twins team.
You called him Maxwell.
I did. I dropped the Maxwell.
I'm rubbing off on you. I love Max, and Max obviously is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Legitimate swing and miss stuff. Every time he goes out there against the Minnesota Twins, he kind of changes. Last time he went up against them, he had high fastballs up in the strike zone. He had them chasing that pitch. And then by speeding up the bats, he simply went to the bottom of the zone with that really good changeup, that real good curveball. Look at the last 10 starts against the Twinkies. Max is 8-1. with a sub-3 ERA, and I expect to watch him go out there and do exactly what he's been doing in his last 10 starts. He's got dominant stuff.
All right, let's try and get a little bit closer to a division with a title with a win here tonight. Coming up after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. And Trevor Thompson coming up in this one here this evening. The Tigers, well, their final road swing of the season gets underway tonight in Minneapolis. We'll be back with Game 1 next. and the rest of the bunch taking on the Minnesota Twins tonight, starting a 3-game series here against Minnesota. The Tigers starting lineup this evening looks like this. It'll be Ian Kinsler starting things off at second base, followed by Torrey Hunter and Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez, your DH tonight. Good numbers against the Twins this year. Then J.D. in left, Nick Castellanos at third. Bottom three of Holiday, Romine, and Rajai Davis tonight for Detroit. And they are facing the offerings of Anthony Swarzak, who gets the spot start tonight for the Twins.
And most of Swarzak's work the last couple of years have come out of the Twins bullpen, making only his second start of this year. He pitches very well here in this particular ballpark. And because of the fact that he's only making his second start of this season, they're hoping to get about 75 pitches tonight out of Swarzak.
Can you tell we're getting into the deep into the month of September just by the weather? Well, we can. Here at today's field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. 59 degrees our game time temperature tonight. Mostly clear and cool, but it is a little bit crisp here at the ballpark this evening.
Well, let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins starting defense behind Anthony Swarzak this evening. Is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Left to right, they've got Parmalee, they've got Schaefer, they've got Arcia. Third to first, you've got Plouffe, Santana, Dozier, Mauer. Only the 23rd start this season for Santana. He's made most of his starts in center field, but they do say he is their shortstop of the future.
Well, it's going to be Ian Kinsler to start things off for the Tigers here tonight, which brings us to our predictions for tonight's Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's new triple cheeseburger for just $2. And here are the selections this evening. I've got J.D. Martinez tonight.
Well, I'm going to go with Maxwell Scherzer. He has been simply dominant against the Minnesota Twins in his last 10 starts against them. He has 8 wins in the 10 starts.
John Keating going with the leadoff man, Ian Kinsler. Those are our selections tonight. As we scope out the standings in the Central Division, Brad Ausmus knows that this is a critical week, obviously. Don't want to look ahead too much to KC because you've got business to take care of here. Tigers a 1.5 lead over the Royals. We are ready for baseball tonight. Ian Kinsler will start things off, then Torrey Hunter and Miguel Cabrera. Lights are on here at the ballpark. Kinsler all bundled up, got the sleeves, batting gloves all set to go, and here comes Kinsler stepping into the batter's box. Swarzak, 29 years old, out of Fort Lauderdale, getting the call tonight for the Twins. And here's the first pitch of tonight's ball game. It's in there for a strike on Ian Kinsler.
And Swarzak's got a fastball that will top out at about 93, 94 miles an hour. When he is able to locate that fastball in all 4 quadrants of the strike zone, it really opens up an outstanding slider that he features.
Open in that time, and it's fouled straight back, 0-2. Swarzak making just his second start of the year, his 48th appearance overall. Tommy Malone was scheduled to start tonight. He's had a bad shoulder and a bad neck recently. The neck has kept him out of this start. There's a ball low and away, 1-2 the count. Kinsler on the last homestand with 8 hits. He has hit safely in 4 consecutive games.
It's good to see his bat perk up.
That's popped up. Shallow right field. The second baseman Dozier, the right fielder Arcia calls him off. And Kinsler's out, 1 away. That'll bring up Torrey Hunter.
He still gets a real nice round of applause every time he comes to Minnesota.
Well, Torrey spent the first 11 years of his big league career right here in Minnesota. Batting .281 this year. Another solid season for the veteran outfielder. And Swarzak delivers a strike, 0-1. Torrey had a nice homestand, 13 hits. He batted .351. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers starting lineup has really started to take shape, and it did so once Hunter slid into that 2 spot in the lineup. He drives this one to center field on a line, but straight at Schaefer. And there are 2 gone. A couple of fly ball outs for Swarzak. Well, Brad Ausmus winding down his first season as a major league manager, and he's got his team right where Tigers fans would hope he would have them, and that's in the thick of the race, and right now a 1.5 lead.
He played some really consistent baseball on that last homestand, which started against Kansas City, finished up with the Cleveland Indians. Good base running, sacrifice, situational hitting. They got some big hits, played well defensively, and of course they got some good pitching.
Yeah, it seemed like most of the facets of the Tigers game was really coming around in that series. They pretty much dealt Cleveland a big blow to their chances. Cabrera looks at a strike. 0-2 the count on Miggy. Tigers, by the way, 17 over the 500 mark now, the most that they have been over 500 this year. And you want to be playing your best baseball down the stretch. That's what the Tigers are doing.
And finally really started to play some good baseball at Comerica Park. They had not been a good home team, so it was good to see them take 5 of the last 6 there.
Now the 0-2. Outside, 1-2 on Cabrera.
That is about the best fastball Swarzak has. Might touch 95, but not very often. He usually stays right around 90 to 94.
Swarzak in search of the 1-2-3 first inning. And Cabrera took one that just missed.
Swarzak thought he had strike 3. That was a 93 mile power fastball on the inside third of home plate. That's something else he's not afraid to do. Not afraid to pitch inside. We watched Trevor Bauer do that yesterday for the Cleveland Indians. They're right-handed.
Driven to right field. Ball is hit well. Arcia going back to the track. He looks up. It's off the wall. Miggy's on his way to second, and he will get in there with a 2-base hit. Drilled that one off the right field wall for a double, and the Tigers have a 2-out chance.
Well, where Swarzak made his mistake is the fact that he just tried to overpower Miggy with all fastballs, and Miggy is a great hitter. And he may not be able to catch up to all fastballs now, but you're not just going to throw Miggy fastball after fastball after fastball. He nearly hit a home run there.
So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Victor Martinez.
That was an absolute laser the other way.
Surprised they didn't chip some of the paint off the wall out there.
I thought it was going to lead, to be honest with you.
Cabrera, by the way, has just picked up his 46th double of the season, which leads the American League.
And Swarzak, no doubt, will pitch very carefully here to Victor Martinez with a base open in the first inning and 2 outs.
And Victor looks at a ball down low. 1-0 the count. Well, it's been an MVP type season for Victor Martinez. And certainly the numbers that JD Martinez behind him has put up has really helped Victor along the way. But Victor has 26 intentional walks, and that leads the American League.
It'd be a no-brainer for the Minnesota Twins to just walk Victor here in the first inning if anybody else was hitting behind Victor. But as you said, JD has been so hot. It's like pick your poison.
Ron Gardenhire, the skipper of the Minnesota Twins, 13th season.
Second longest tenured manager in the big leagues behind Mike Scioscia.
He's seen the best of times, and well, they're in kind of rebuilding mode right now.
They've been there for the last 4 years.
2-0 is hammered to center field. Ball is hit well. Schaefer is on the move, still going back, turns around, can't get it. One hop over the wall, that'll drive in a run, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
I'm a straight up Tigers fan, you know that, but I'm very surprised that Swarzak would allow Victor Martinez with 2 outs and a base open to beat him with a double and drive in a run here in the very first inning. Just not smart pitching, but Victor's having some kind of season. That's a breaking ball that Victor Martinez must have been sitting on at 82 miles an hour. He whistled it over the head of Schaefer. Schaefer got turned around a little bit, but Victor drove that ball a long way.
Well, it certainly was a situation that screamed put him on and take on the next hitter, but they paid for it.
Yeah, regardless of how well JD Martinez is going, Victor is in the MVP conversation in the American League.
And he's now 1 RBI away from 100. So the two big guns with back-to-back doubles, 1-0 Detroit.
Dive into some of Victor's numbers: 30 doubles, more than 30 homers, on base percentage over 400. Not to mention the batting average and what he does with 2 strikes. What a season it has been for the 35-year-old.
Right back up the middle into center field. Here comes Martinez rounding third. He's going to come around to the plate, and the throw is cut off. JD gets back into the bag at first. It's an RBI single, 2-0 Detroit.
Well, we talked about it at the top of the show. The Tigers' 3, 4, 5 hitters in the month of September, they've been simply going off. And that would be Miggy with a double, Victor Martinez with another double, and JD Martinez fighting off a fastball inside for a base hit and another RBI. So the beat just goes on for the Tigers trio.
And the good thing about that base hit by JD, it wasn't scalded. It really wasn't hit all that hard. So by the time it got to Schaefer, they were able to score Victor. And so 3 consecutive 2-out hits. Martinez gets his 72nd RBI. Here's Castellanos. They're going to appeal down at third, perhaps saying he missed the bag, but Jim Joyce says nope. Doubled by Miggy, doubled by Martinez, single rather by JD Martinez. And Castellanos looks at ball 1. Nick had a 10-hit homestand for the Tigers. Trying to keep the chain moving here in the first. 1-0 is in for a strike, 1-1. Nick, a bit of a different look tonight. He's got the socks up high, up around the knees.
He had a different look yesterday when he got on the plane.
So did all of the rookies. Here's the 1-1 pitch, a swing and a foul back.
Here's what we talked about at the top of the show if you didn't tune in at 8 o'clock. A 420 batting average for Miggy in September. Victor not far behind that. JD Martinez has been stellar. He's driven in 12 runs in that span.
Yeah, the middle has gotten it done. It all started with Miguel tonight. His double off the wall and right. 1-2 is strike 3 called. Castellanos is called out. The Tigers will get a couple. They'll leave a man aboard. RBI hits by Victor and JD Martinez. Tiger starter Max Scherzer tonight, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Max won his 16th game of the season, his last start against the Kansas City Royals, pitching 6 2/3 innings that day, giving up just 1 run, looking for win number 17 tonight.
And Scherzer facing Danny Santana to start things off for Minnesota. Tigers have given Scherzer an early 2-0 lead to work with. Santana hits that one to the left side of the infield. And it'll be Romine for the out, 1 gone. Here's the rest of the lineup for Minnesota. Presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers tonight. You saw Santana. Dozier 100 runs scored this year. He's followed by Mauer and Vargas. Trevor Plouffe at third. Oswaldo Arcia is in right field. It's Suzuki, Parmalee, and Schaefer in the bottom 3 spots for the Twins. 1 out now for Dozier. A 20 home run season this year for Dozier. As a matter of fact, he's a 20-20 guy. 20 homers, 20 stolen bases. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Dozier is a pretty good fastball hitter. He stands right on top of the plate. He loves the balls inside, and when you do try to challenge him with a fastball inside, he can turn on it. That's where the majority of his home runs have gone, to left field.
2-1. Average down this year at 237, but the home runs certainly up. And there you go, the first Twins second baseman to go 20-20. Popped up. Second baseman Kinsler to the grass. A couple of pop outs for Max Scherzer.
And while we have a moment, I'll set the Tigers defensive alignment for you. In the outfield, they've got and Martinez, Davis, and Hunter. And third to first, it's Castellanos, Romine, Kinsler, and Miggy. Brian Holiday is the catcher here.
Alex Avila will not play tonight. Brad Ausmus made that very clear. He left the ball game yesterday with lightheadedness. And so Holiday catching here tonight.
Yeah, Avila was picked off early in yesterday's game, and the first baseman, Santana, when he applied the tag, simply wheeled around, and he basically got Avila with a forearm, and it looked like he got him pretty good, right? Chops.
He'll take this one in for the bench tonight. Holiday, the capable backups, had a nice season. Mauer waits on the 0-1. Sprayed foul down the left field line.
Well, that's where you could bunch Mauer. That's one of the reasons why Rajay Davis in the center field is shading him over to left center field. J.D. Martinez, the left fielder, shading over toward the line. And the majority of the time that Mauer puts the ball in play, he hits it in that direction.
Drilled in the air to center field. On the move, Rajay Davis. He'll get to the gap and cut it off. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Max Scherzer. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. And by Dean's Country Fresh Ice Cream and Country Fresh Gallon Milk. It's the real deal. A little bit bundled up tonight. Some jackets as the fans continue to file in. And the Tigers out to a quick lead in this one. 2-0 is our score, and the first pitch is lined to center field. Schaefer on the move, won't get there. Base hit. Ryan Holiday starts it off in the second with a single.
And just about every strike that Swarzak has thrown up there, the Tigers are barreling him up nicely so far. That's a fastball that's up in the strike zone, and B. Holiday just hits it right back up the middle.
They are hoping for in the area of 75 pitches tonight from Swarzak, who's making just his second start.
Yeah, that might be 3 innings.
Yeah. There's a swing and a miss by Andrew Romine. Romine getting another start here tonight. He started 6 games on the homestand for the Tigers.
Played well.
Now the 0-1. Lifted back out of play 0-2.
Andrew has handled his role very nicely this season. It's not the easiest thing to do at this level, to sit for 4, 5, 6 days in a row, and then when you're called upon, come in and do the kind of job that he has done, catching the ball, getting the sac bunts down, an occasional stolen base. He's handled himself very well.
Well, there was a time where Romine really was sitting down on most days as Suarez was getting a really good long look, and as you say, he was able to stay sharp and remain prepared for his opportunities. Swarzak has already thrown 25. Bouncing ball right side, base hit out of the reach of Brian Dozier, and that'll put 2 aboard now for the Tigers.
And Tigers going station to station. Yeah, the bunt is in order here in the second inning, but I don't know if Brad will give Rajai Davis the bunt this early in the game. They've already scored a couple of runs, and it looks like that by swinging the bat, they probably could score some more runs against Swarzak, so why give up an out?
Yeah, Rajai had a good series against Cleveland, 4 for 9. Tigers already had 5 hits now against Swarzak.
And Rajai laid down a beautiful sacrifice bunt yesterday.
Just in case, Plouffe tied at third base on the cut of the grass. And Rajai looks at a strike, 0-1. No sign of bunt. Davis this year 48 RBIs. 308 this year with runners in scoring position. Checked it. They will appeal. Did not go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis has pretty much taken over that center field position following the trade of Austin Jackson. There are times when late in games Ezekiel Carrera will come out to play center field when the Tigers have the lead and Rajai moves to left. The 1-1 popped up shallow right field. Arcia is under it. First out of the inning. We'll bring up Ian Kinsler. It also brings us to our Bernstein advantage, and Ian has had the advantage over Anthony Swarzak in his career, 7 for 17. It's a .412 average. He's also homered against him. Ian now with a chance to extend this 2-0 Tigers lead. We're in the second. Holiday led it off with a single. Romine then followed with a base hit. And Kinsler looks at strike 1. Ian right now has 175 hits. He has never had a 200 hit season, but the 175 does represent a career high. Now the 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Kinsler. So while the numbers maybe have tailed off a tad here in the second half, overall it's been a really nice season for Kinsler. Cowboys even playing some great defense down the stretch. Low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Torrey waiting on deck. Now Swarzak with the 2-1 pitch. A little bit high. 3 balls, 1 strike. Swarzak led all major league relievers last year with 96 innings pitched. Last season was a really effective long guy for the Minnesota Twins. He has made it known that he would love to be in the starting rotation. That certainly is his goal. He did that earlier in his career. And that's in there for a strike. Kinsler was on his way to first, but he's called back. Full count.
Yeah, early decision here. And for Brad Austin, it's on the 3-2 pitch. That will be thrown by Swarzak as he dares start the runners here with Ian Kinsler in the batter's box.
The answer is no, and it's lined to short. 1-hop pick by Santana to second one, and the relay is picked at first. Wow. What a fabulous double play turn by the Minnesota infield. Santana, Dozier, and Mauer with a couple of nifty picks. It goes 6-4-3.
Shortstop with the future. Take a look at how he backhands this ball. He goes down and gets it. And then look at the feed here to the second baseman, Dozier. He gives it to him in a real nice spot to where no issues as far as when he turns the ball over to get it back across the diamond because Romine was sliding in rather low. I like where that feed was.
Santana has played a lot of center field this year, but I don't think there's any doubt they look at him as the shortstop. He made a dandy play there.
Here's the feed over to Dozier. And it needed to be down there because he needed to make Romine get down. He had to make him slide, throw underneath, and that's why he was able to complete the double play.
So the Twins able to dodge a bullet, and it's Kenny Vargas leading it off here in the second. Vargas, blue fan, RCA.
And Kenny Vargas, in a very short amount of time, has made his presence known in the big leagues. This guy bypassed AAA straight to the movies.
Yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy. I mean, he had some big numbers at AA. He's absolutely continued that here at the major league level. Here's the 2-2, and it's outside.
He's still very young. He's a first baseman by trade, but there's no room on the Minnesota Twins for him to play first base. So his future is probably going to be as a designated hitter.
High fly ball left field. That's routine for J.D. Martinez. And that's on number 1. Let's check in with John Keating, who has a little bit more on rookie dress up yesterday.
And misery loves company, right? So some of the rookies got a chance to sort of bask in everything that was happening to not only themselves, but all of the others who were involved. You've probably seen the pictures by now. They were all over Twitter. The rookies dressed up in sports bras, tiny bottoms, and football shoulder pads. Rick Porcello reports this group enjoyed it perhaps more than they should have, and it wasn't just making their way into the hotel, Mario and Rod. They actually had to stop along the way. Some of the vets were dining, and so the rookies were called in and in unison saying, "We are the Titans," from Remember the Titans. They turned the music off in the restaurant and everything. So everybody in Minneapolis got a chance to enjoy the sight of these big, strong brutes in their little tiny outfits.
Yeah, enjoy is probably not the correct word, but you know, the best thing about that, Rod, is the fact that you only have to do it once, and then hopefully it's over.
You know, they had a lot of fun with it because we were boarding our plane. We were on the plane, but they were still loading the luggage, so we had to wait. And when all the rookies got to the plane, they had a football, and they were outside, and it looked like it was about an 8-on-8 touch football game with those outfits on. So it was quite comical, and it was fun to see everybody have that much fun with it.
Comical and disturbing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, we had one of them sitting next to us, so it was it was a little something.
It was a little uncomfortable, but that's all right. It only happens once a year. Scherzer back to work now. The 2-2 fouled away by Trevor Plouffe.
Plouffe's had a nice year this year. He's hit lots of doubles. 40 of those to be exact. 30% of his hits this year have been two-baggers.
Now Max ready with the 2-2. Plouffe sends it high in the air. Shallow center. Davis coming in. He's got it measured down for the second out of the inning. Time for a game break now. We go back to the studio. Justin White. All right, Justin, thanks. The former Tiger, Avisail Garcia.
Yeah, big game. James Shields had 2 consecutive starts where he did not give up a run. The start against the Yankees and the one against the Tigers.
Strike called on Oswaldo Arcia. Meanwhile, the Tigers got a couple of runs here in the first inning, and they did so on 3 consecutive 2-out hits. Arcia is one of the guys in the Twins lineup that the Tigers will shift against. They've got the second baseman and the third baseman as well on the right side of the infield. Castellanos on the grass on the right side. That's outside.
Yeah, usually Arcia's got one thing on his mind, and that's to hit a home run. He's hit quite a few this year, 17. He's driven in 51, but he's also struck out 111 times.
And Scherzer missed outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Arcia this year with 17 homers. 11 of those have come following the All-Star break. That's in there 3-2. It's knocked in 51 this year. Now Max with the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2-3 inning. First strikeout for Scherzer. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. the third tonight at Target Field, and it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #DetroitFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It is brought to you by AT&T. Cool evening tonight here in Minneapolis. Game 1 in the series. Tigers got a couple of runs in the first. Swarzak goes back to work, and he misses low to Torrey Hunter. It'll be Hunter, Cabrera, and then Victor Martinez. Torrey flied to center field his first time up. The 1-0 is in for a strike right at the knees. 1-1. Swarzak's only other start this year came against the Indians, and he was actually pretty good. July 23rd, gave up just 1 run in 5 innings. Chopped foul, third base side, 1-2.
Yeah, that last fastball there thrown at 91 miles an hour by Swarzak had a lot of tailing action on it. It ran in on the hands of Torrey Hunter.
Here's the 1-2. Got him, strike 3, punched out by Marvin Hudson.
And back-to-back fastballs thrown by Swarzak, both in the low 90s. This one on the outside corner, a little swing back action, able to get the strikeout call.
So here is Miguel Cabrera, who doubled to get it started back in the first off the right field wall. Ball 1 away to Miguel.
It was a welcome sight in that first at bat by Miggy to see him drive the ball that aggressively the opposite way. That's probably the one thing that's been missing from Miggy all year, of the fact that he hasn't done a lot of damage in that direction, and that's really what he has done throughout his entire big league career.
Well, even with trouble doing that, with the ankle problems he's had all season long, another 100 RBI season for Miguel.
46 doubles, 22 homers.
Hits by direction for Cabrera. Here's the 1-1 pitch. 1-2 now on Miggy.
I was watching Miguel take batting practice today, and he was in a really good mood. He was hitting the ball out of this ballpark in every direction.
Which, along with his first at bat, is a sign that maybe he's feeling a little bit better physically now. Here's Martinez waiting on deck. Drilled to center field this time. Schaefer is on the move. 2 gone. So Cabrera hit it hard again. Bring up Victor Martinez. Interesting choice back in the first inning after that double with 2 outs by Cabrera. They elected to go after Martinez with first base open. Swarzak fell behind 2-0 and then grooved the breaking ball that Martinez doubled to not get a run. To dead center field, and he's batting .332 now. That's it for a strike. Martinez had a .300 homestand. We'll foul that one back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes.
And here's Victor's numbers with 2 strikes. There's no problem for him usually. He had .322 batting average. But take a look at that bottom note there. The league average is 178 with 2 strikes. Just to give you an idea of how good Victor has been in these types of situations.
The 0-2. High fly ball. Shallow right field. It's going to be Arcia under this one. And it finally settles into his glove. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Swarzak. On our way to the bottom of the third. Today here at Target Field, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Anibal Sanchez throwing in the bullpen, and that was a good sign.
And Jeff Kunkel, the batting practice catcher and bullpen catcher, he wasn't all the way behind the plate. He was about 3 or 4 feet in front of home plate once Sanchez finally got on the mound. But it all went well, and they say that Sanchez continues to get better.
Be interesting to see what happens with Anibal the last 2 weeks of the season and then into postseason, how the Tigers will use him.
Well, if he does come back and he is capable of pitching in the postseason, I would think that more than likely he'll have to be used out of the bullpen.
Kurt Suzuki is starting things off against Max Scherzer. He'll drive one to center field. Ball hit well. Davis on the move. Just about to the warning track. One gone.
And they say the ball's traveling better this year at Target Field, but you still have to hit it a ton if you're going to go straight central in this ballpark.
6 of the first 7 outs recorded by Max have been in the air in this game. Bring up Parmalee. Getting back to Sanchez, Rod, you were talking earlier, even before Anibal was hurt, that you feel that in the postseason he might be better served coming out of the bullpen.
Then Porcello for me. I like Porcello as a starter. Porcello pitches to much more contact than Anibal does. And if you ran yourself into a situation where you had a Scherzer, you had a Price, you had a Verlander, I would pitch Sanchez out of the bullpen for that fact. I love guys that come out of the bullpen in the postseason that can miss some bats. And when Sanchez is right, he can miss bats. He gets a lot of strikeouts.
Anibal with a 3.46 ERA and 21 starts this year. 8-5 record.
The boys all bundled up down there tonight.
Do they have any heaters down there?
I'm sure they do.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Parmalee is batting .259. Here's the 1-2. Down he goes.
Well, Max is quite the strikeout artist. As a matter of fact, he gets tons of swing and misses. And if you talk to opposing hitters who has some of the best stuff in baseball in the American League, Max Scherzer's name is quickly to come to their tongues. His stuff is legit.
The Tigers this year have, as you might expect, done really well in Max's starts. Max has won 16 games, but the Tigers overall are 21-9 in his first 30 starts.
They score a lot of runs for Max, too.
Schaefer stands in with 2 outs. That's in for a strike. 8 straight retired by Max. Schaefer's done nice work after being acquired off the waiver wire from Atlanta back in early August. That's yanked foul.
Yeah, he's at least played himself into the conversation going into 2015 in their outfield. He can run. He's a really good defender with a strong arm, but his bat has played very well in Minnesota.
Schaefer, from his early days as a young player in the Atlanta system, was always considered one of their better prospects. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Schaefer just completed the road trip with the Minnesota Twins, going just 3 for 14, so he has slowed a bit recently. Holliday wants the fastball. Here it is. Swing and a miss.
Imagine that.
Threw it right by him at 94. 3 strikeouts down for Max. 9 up, 9 down against the Tigers right-hander.
Swarzak got the first two out, but there was Miggy hitting a double the opposite way. Then Victor Martinez with a base open. Swarzak decided to pitch to him. He drove in Miggy, and there was J.D. Martinez driving in Victor Martinez, and that's where we stand right now. Tigers 2-0 in the bottom half, top half of the fourth inning.
And so the Tigers now come to the dish here in the fourth. Facing Swarzak, J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Brian Holiday.
J.D. Martinez has just done a marvelous job of retooling his swing in the offseason. We well documented that. But he's been able to maintain it. What he really likes to do, and you watch him before every pitch, he just takes that left shoulder and that left arm and he pulls it close to his body just to remind himself that's where he wants to do. That's the direction he wants to go. And that's really what he's tried to do all year.
There was a really good article on FoxSportsDetroit.com written by Dina Wakichi about J.D. Martinez and how the Tigers went about acquiring him. He really has climbed to prominence here with the Tigers. He drives this one deep to right field, and it's going to go one hop off the wall. Arcia looked like he was measuring it, and all of a sudden it landed over his head.
Well, he should have caught that ball. That ball landed on the warning track, but he thought it was going to go off the wall, and therefore J.D. Martinez gets his second hit of the day. Well, take a look at Arcia in the outfield. He gets there, he stops, he turns around, he comes in, and had he just kept running, he would have caught the ball.
I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, he thought it was going to hit off the wall. He was bracing himself to play it off the wall.
So the Tigers get the leadoff man on. That'll bring up Castellanos. Already leading 2-0. Nick looks at ball one.
Yeah, good count here for Castellanos.
50 now for Swarzak. He has surrendered 6 hits. Big swing there by Nick, and the count goes 1-1. Castellanos had 10 hits on the just completed homestand. Trying to pick up J.D. Martinez, who has led it off with a double. 1-2.
And you can see by those first two swings that Castellanos took against Swarzak, with nobody out and a runner on second base, trying to hit something toward the right side of the infield or through the right side of the infield to at least get Martinez over to third base.
And the 1-2 fouled away again. Castellanos this year has knocked in 59. He has 31 doubles in his rookie season. Came into spring training this year with the opportunity to man the third base position this year for the Tigers. If he could handle it, then he has. He has kept it all season long. That's low and away. 2-2. Now Swarzak with the 2-2 pitch. He hits it the other way to the second baseman. Knocked down by Dozier. Does he have time? He does not. The runner will advance, and Castellanos is aboard as well. First and third, nobody out for Detroit.
Take a look at the swing here by Castellanos. He's just simply has tremendous concentration driving that ball the other way, and because of so, he was rewarded with a base hit. Nice job by Dozier getting there, but he wasn't able to complete the play.
That'll go as a single for Castellanos, and the Tigers now have 7 hits. Runners at the corners, nobody out now for Brian Holiday. In the air, left field, ball is hit well. Parley's on the run. He's not going to get it. And they go all the way to the wall. Martinez will score. Castellanos gets to third. It's a double and an RBI for Brian Holiday. And the Tigers lead 3-0.
And Brian Holiday got the first pitch fastball from Swarzak that was right over the heart of the plate and drilled it over the left fielder's head. Parmelee, by the time Parmelee able to run it down, Castellanos was sliding into third base, and Brian Holiday with a double. Second hit of the game for Brian Holiday.
And the second time in this game, the Tigers have put together 3 consecutive hits. 5th double of the year for Holiday. Quick visit to the mound, and Swarzak now in more hot water.
If there's really one area that you could point to where Minnesota has really struggled the last 4 years under their manager Ron Gardenhire, it's in the starting pitching department. They really just have not had good starting pitching, and it really hasn't mattered whether they've made a trade for a guy, whether they've gone out in the free agent market and tried to bring in a guy. They've just not gotten it done on that mound.
Phil Hughes has been Minnesota's best this year. The Tigers will not see him in this series. Andrew Romine steps in, and he shoots one back out the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Castellanos scores. Here comes Holiday, and he will score, and Romine gets it done with a 2-run single.
Every single fastball that Swarzak continues to throw up there, every single Tigers hitter is all over it.
5-0 Tigers. 11 RBIs this year for Romine. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tigers pouring it on early now. They have 5 runs on 9 hits. And Swarzak still has not recorded an out here in the 4th. Rajay Davis looks at a ball outside, 1-0.
And Brad Ausmus, if he wants to keep the pressure on Swarzak and the Minnesota Twins, he can simply allow Romine to either steal a base or put a hit and run on with Rajay Davis. Romine has 10 steals. He's been caught twice.
Strike called, 1-1. So already the Twins getting action in their bullpen with a 5-0 score here in the 4th inning. And another toss chasing Romine back. Swarzak, as we mentioned, they were hoping to get 75 pitches out of him.
Yeah, this is only his 2nd start this year.
A.J. Octor already warming up in the bullpen. There's a little looper down the right field line, but foul.
Yeah, but all the candidates that Ron Gardenhire had in his bullpen, Swarzak was the likely choice because he has thrown so much in relief the last couple of years. He's the only one that had been remotely stretched out.
The splits for Swarzak in his career, well, they're quite different. In fact, a 2-run difference as a starter and a reliever. Now the 1-2. Bouncing ball back up the middle, and a diving stop. Dozier flips to second, one, and they got a double play.
Rajay must have not been running hard.
How they turned that, I'll never know.
It's a nifty play, and it's already the 2nd double play that they've turned in up the middle. Santana turned in one starting it to Dozier a couple of innings ago, and this one Dozier leaves his feet, uses the glove to get the ball to Santana, and then they flip across the diamond to get Rajay Davis by a half a step. That's sweet.
Boy, man, for Dozier to get enough on that flip, and Santana got rid of it quickly. So the 2nd outstanding double play turned by the middle infield for the Twins. 2 out, nobody on. Tigers on top 5-0. Kinsler nubs one off the end of the bat. Swarzak will flip it to first, and that'll take care of the Tigers. However, they're able to add 3 more runs. Now a 5-0 game. Nothing lead against the Minnesota Twins as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Max Scherzer has been in control as well, and they have supported him with a ton of offense. 9 hits already in this game for Detroit. And Scherzer 9 up 9 down against them to start this one. Faces the top of the lineup. Danny Santana leads it off. Santana looks at a strike.
And just about every out recorded so far by Max in this game has either been in the air or a strikeout. Lots of fastballs up in the strike zone, especially to the guys that can run, and they've simply popped it up.
They've swung right through some fastballs in this one.
Yeah, Max has done a lot of that, throwing the ball by big league hitters. He's gone over 230 strikeouts for the 3rd consecutive season.
There's a fair ball. Third base line out of the reach of Castellanos, and the first hit of the ball game belongs to Santana for the Twins.
So not only is Max going over the 200 strike plateau, he's better than 230 in the last 3 seasons. Now that's a fastball tailing away from Santana that he just has stuck the bat out, and with Castellanos playing that far off the bag, there was going to be no play. But that last 6 pitchers with 230 plus Ks in 3+ consecutive seasons doesn't happen very often. Look at the list of guys.
That's a who's who right there.
That's right.
Randy, Pedro, Clemens, Lincecum.
Everybody on that list has won a Cy Young.
High fly ball left field, carrying a bit down to the warning track. JD under. Dozier is out.
How about that list? Everybody on that list had won a Cy Young. That was some impressive company Max is keeping these days.
And it's been another one of those years for Scherzer. Everything is falling together for him.
Lincecum, big unit, Pedro, Roger Clemens.
Here's Joe Mauer. That's in there, strike 1 to Bauer.
And that's something that Mauer still does a lot of, not nearly as much as he did last year, and that's taking the first pitch in any at bat. He took 9 out of 10 last year. And this season he's swinging a little bit more frequently at first pitches. He's one of those guys a lot like Victor Martinez. Mauer not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. therefore very patient early in at bats.
Joe Mauer is 0 for 1. He passed Rod Carew for 4th all-time on the Twins list in doubles earlier this year.
No longer a catcher these days. Joe Mauer. He's a first baseman. They feel like that's the best way to keep him healthy the remainder of the years that he's going to be under contract.
Looking at his career numbers, .319 career. And Mauer looks at a strike on the outer edge. 1-2 on Joe. Local Minnesota kid that's won some batting titles. He has done a lot from that catching position, but as his career has progressed and some injuries, he is now playing first base.
He also was an outstanding high school quarterback right here in the Minnesota area.
Now Max ready with the 1-2. Checked it. Don't believe he went. He did not, says Jim Joyce. 2-2 the count on Mauer. Scherzer retired 9 straight before the single by Santana greeted him here in the 4th inning.
Bingo time.
And the 2-2 lifted back out of play.
And Max can go a couple different ways here against Joe Mauer. He can simply go with the fastball away, knowing that Mauer more than likely is going to hit that ball to left field because he always does. But if he does throw a breaking ball or a changeup, he might just get that ground ball to Ian Kinsler, which would bode very well for him. That would give them an opportunity to turn the double play and get out of the inning. But it has to be something soft and something down.
High fly ball center field hit well. Davis going back. Rajay has it measured right at the 411 marker.
It wasn't soft and it wasn't down.
Oh, it wasn't.
As a matter of fact, it was a loud sound.
Fortunately, it landed into the glove of Davis. 2 gone now. And attention, Michigan State University grads and fans, you can get a ticket to see the Tigers play the Twins September the 26th, 7:08, plus a Spartans in the D t-shirt. That offer is available only at tigers.com/Spartans. 2 away now, and that'll bring up Kenny Vargas. Vargas flied to left field this first time. Ball outside, 1-0. Vargas in his first at bat drove one to left, but now 3 for his last 21. Still, since coming up from Double-A, has put up tremendous numbers. You mapped out the fact, Rod, that he is probably going to have to DH, and I wonder if the Twins have any apprehension at all in the fact that he's 24 and making him a full-time DH. I'm just not sure they have any other choice.
They don't have a choice because either he DH or Joe Mauer DH, and Mauer right now, even though he's still learning the first base position, he's much better defender than Vargas is.
Roll to the shortstop, and Romine will throw him out. So nothing comes of the leadoff single. 4 in the books here at Target Field. All Detroit tonight. by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. And by Chevy Truck Month, where great deals and great trucks come together at your Chevy dealer. Now that is making me hungry.
Yeah, I'll take one of those that are slightly burnt on the end there.
What do you want on it?
Just a few onions be good.
No mustard?
No.
Ooh, sauerkraut. 5-0 Tigers have the lead here. Game 1 in this 3-game series. Tigers trying to pad their lead in the American League Central Division. So far so good here as Torrey Hunter stands in. Torrey, then Miguel Cabrera, then Victor Martinez. Swarzak goes back out there. This will be his 5th inning of work. And Hunter sends a ground ball off the glove of Swarzak, redirected to Dozier. And that'll be a 1-4-3, 1 gone. Now Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera doubled and a fly ball. 22 homers this year and now 46 two-base hits. Really good chance for a Miggy to get to 50 in the double column this year. Strike 1 in the outer edge. Tigers have badly out-hit the Twins tonight, 9-1.
And Tigers have been the best offensive team in the American League as far as hits are concerned, doubles, RBIs, you name it. They're right at the top of a lot of categories.
Arcia sprawls out and fortunately stops that ball. Otherwise it goes to the wall.
It's really a good sign. Miguel Cabrera, for the 2nd time in 3 at-bats today, hitting the ball rather sharply the opposite way.
Designated hitter, Victor Martinez.
RC is a little bit of an adventure out there, isn't he?
That's putting it mildly, I think. And here's the thing, he tried to sell it.
Yeah, I caught it.
Come on now, who's going to buy that? Well, the Tigers have their 10th hit of the ball game now. Here's Victor Martinez.
First couple of times up today, Victor has taken the first pitch. He might be up there swinging now.
He is indeed. He strokes it toward left field, partly on the run. Can't get it over his head. Cabrera's on his way to 3rd. He will stop there, and Victor Martinez has his 2nd hit.
He just sets you up. I mean, everybody in baseball knows that Victor is not all that aggressive on a lot of the first pitches. First couple of times up, he took it. Therefore, Swarzak, he gives him that cookie fastball tailing away from him, and Victor for his 2nd double of the evening, number 31 on the year.
That is 11 hits now for the Tigers in this game. Here's J.D. Martinez. We talked earlier about how the Tigers couldn't afford to look ahead to the Kansas City series coming up. They had to certainly take the Twins seriously, and they have. They've jumped out all over them. And now J.D. is going to be walked intentionally.
2nd consecutive day where J.D. Martinez has gotten a free pass.
Octor warming up again in their bullpen. So they're now even starting to avoid J.D. Martinez. First base open. This will load the bases, and Castellanos will step in. And there's ball 4 outside. So J.D. gets his walk. And Ron Gardenhire has seen enough. That is going to be it. Octor, the right-hander, will be summoned in from the bullpen. It's going to be a wall side windows pitching change here at Target Field. Swarzak will not survive the 5th. We'll be back.
pitch. Anthony Swarzak making his second start of this year, and it didn't go very well for him. Everything he threw up there, whether it be a fastball or a breaking ball, they were splitting the heart of the plate, and most of these were not getting to the catcher's glove. He gave up 11 hits already in this game. 5 different Tigers have 2 hits in this contest, so that's why Swarzak has been bounced out of this game.
Numbers on Swarzak: 70 in the ball game today, 4 to 30, 11 hits, 5 runs, and he still has some traffic on the bases. In fact, they're loaded. Here are the minor league numbers on A.J. Ochter.
In 40 games, 238 earned run average, 69 strikeouts for Ochter, 24 base on balls, but the opponent's batting average very low, 176 batting average against him.
First pitch down low to Nick Castellanos. By the way, do you know where Ochter went to college?
Michigan State.
Yes, indeed.
46th round draft choice in 2010, so he has definitely battled some odds.
What a great story. He's gotten to the major leagues. He has inherited a mess, though, with the bases loaded and 1 out. Castellanos looks at a ball outside.
And Castellanos is about licking his chops right now. A 2-0 count, guaranteed to get a fastball in the next pitch from Ochter. And this is where hitters do their damage. This is where they make their money, in these counts right here.
Nothing good to hit there, and now the count has gone 3-0.
You don't know for sure, but don't think Castellanos will be turned loose here on the 3-0 pitch from Ochter.
All smiles right now on the Tiger bench. There's a strike. Castellanos didn't like it. He thought he had himself a walk and an RBI there. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Full count now, 3-2. Ochter is a native of Toledo, Ohio. Still lives in Ohio in the offseason.
Spent some time this year in Double-A and also Triple-A.
Fouled away.
.65, 210.
.26 years of age, getting his first crack at the major leagues. And he walked it, ball 4. That's going to force in a run. So Castellanos gets an RBI, his 60th of the year. Tigers ended their lead 6-0 as Miggy comes strolling in. Hey, this October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series, and it all begins this October.
And this much we do know, that Ochter, he can't continue to pitch from behind. And the way that he has started out this outing.
He has gotten behind 1-0, and now a ball low, 2 balls and no strikes. That's going to bring the catcher Suzuki out to the mound.
Brian Holiday already with 2 hits in the game, single and a double and an RBI. And meanwhile, the Chicago White Sox are taking care of the Kansas City Royals. They're in the 5th inning, and big game James Shields has given up 3 runs, so that's good news coming out of Missouri.
The next destination for the Tigers on to KC.
We've got a couple of days off in Kansas City, you and I.
Barbecue. There's a pop-up. And get back toward the seats, and out of play it goes.
Yeah, we actually have a chance to get some barbecue and not feel guilty about getting it at 10:30 p.m. at night.
I never feel guilty, man. It's so good. 2-1 on Holiday, single double, RBI for Bryant. Swarzak left after giving up a single, double, and an intentional walk.
And he still has a couple of base runners out there.
And Doctor missed again. So now he's flirting again with danger. Another 3-1 count. High fly ball to left. Martinez tagging at third base. Parmalee coming in. They're going to try and score the run. The throw to the plate. The tag, and he's out at home plate. Chris Parmalee guns down Victor Martinez. A double play to end the inning. Tigers and another run, though, as Brad Ausmus now is coming out. Perhaps wants to take a look at that play at the plate. Martinez, as you know, doesn't run all that well, and Parmalee played it well. And it looks like they're good with it. Here's the replay. And it looked like Victor was out. So no challenge here. Tigers, however, get another run. And they extend their lead. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
Here we go.
Well, Max Scherzer back to the hill now. The Tigers have given him yet another run to work with. 6-0 is our score as we go to the bottom of the fifth, and Scherzer delivers outside to Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe, Arcia, and Suzuki here in the home half of the fifth inning. Numbers are lopsided tonight. 6 runs on 11 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit for the Twins. Max has been in command. The only hit he's given up to Santana's single in the fourth.
And speaking of command, Max is 9 of 14 in first pitch strikes, working very efficiently in that regard. And then he's able to expand the strike zone with different breaking balls, slider, curveball, or the changeup.
1-2 is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And a few starts ago, Max had a really testy start right here in this ballpark. He threw a bunch of pitches, only lasted 5 innings in that game, but he did get the win that day.
Swing and a miss.
Ooh, how about that change piece? Max has a couple different changeups. One, he'll fade away from the lefties and the righties, and then that one that just dives straight down to the right-handed batters. It acts more like a split-fingered fastball. You saw the grip. Now here's the action. That would be what's considered a plus changeup, people.
Plus result there. Breaking ball missing high to Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia struck out back in the second. He sends one high and deep right field. That ball is crushed. That ball is way out of here.
Oh, he killed that.
Oh, my goodness. Oswaldo Arcia goes deep. It only counts as one, no matter how far it went.
One thing about Arcia, he can hit him as far as anybody on the Twinkies team. And we were talking to one of their broadcasters before the game. He was showing us some of the places where he has hit home runs in this ballpark, and that right there has to be one of the longer ones. That looked like another changeup that just kind of tailed right into the happy zone of Arcia, and with that uppercut swing, he was able to catch up to it and hit it about 450 feet.
Yikes. Look at the reaction of Max Scherzer.
Well, I guess if you're going to serve him up, you want to serve him up like that.
Apparently, that thing went up her tank. There's a ball down low.
That might be one of the furthest ones I've seen here since we've been coming to this new ballpark.
I would agree. Arcia has hit his 18th, 12 of them post All-Star break. So his power numbers have been showing up. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kurt Suzuki. That's only the second hit allowed by Scherzer.
On line drive. Here we go.
Here's the 1-1. Ground ball, shortstop side. Romine able to smother it. Does he have enough on his throw? He does not. Infield hit. They are estimating that home run at 412. Even 60 now for Max Scherzer. Mostly strikes. Here's Chris Parmelee. Max struck him out back in the 3rd. Bouncing ball to second. Should be 2. Kinsler, Romine, and a double play.
Boy, they've been working very nice together the last week.
4-6-3. They'll settle for the 1 run. The good news coming here. The Tigers have some good news. You see the standings. They lead by a 1.5. And the Royals trailing in their game. The Tigers winning this one 6-1.
Yeah, the Royals started a 10-game homestand, their final 10-game homestand of the season when they left Detroit a few days ago, but it has not started out very well for them. They've lost 3 of the first 4.
It may get to the point if they don't start playing better quickly. I mean, they're going to start concentrating on the wild card.
They may have to, because the Tigers right now are playing some good baseball all around.
Romine sends a slow ground ball to second base. Dozier has it there. Hander is out, one gone. Going to bring up Rajay Davis. Rajay knocked into a double play his last time up. The Twins may be struggling this year, and they've won only 63 games this season, but they have played the Tigers even up. They have each won 6 games in this season series. They'll have 3 here. They'll close out the home season for the Tigers at Comerica. Rajay takes ball 1.
They've got a few areas they need to shore up going into 2015. They need to bring in a big game pitcher. There's somebody that's going to give them 200 innings a year. Somebody that's going to give them a legitimate shot at winning every 5th day. They really only have that guy. That'd be Phil Hughes. They also need a big bat in the middle of the batting order.
Well, they've got some legit prospects that are really close. Miguel Sano, an infielder, and Byron Buxton, who was considered their center fielder of the future. The ball is inside, 2-1. Don't know if they would consider parting with any of those pieces to try and get some pitching, but you just can't win without at least a frontline guy or 2. Here's the ball low.
There's a couple of really good starting pitchers that are going to hit the free agent market after this season's over. John Lester, James Shields, Max Scherzer. I don't really know if they can afford either of those 3, but that's the kind of guy they need to go after.
Into shallow right field, Dozier back to make the play. Trevor Mays pitched better for them as well.
That kid Kyle Gibson's also a good pitcher.
Well, tickets for potential American League Division Series games go on sale this Wednesday at noon. Guaranteed tickets for all potential Tigers postseason games by placing a 2015 season ticket deposit. Visit Tigers.com for more details.
Man, is Oakland going to get in?
I think they eventually will, but they're making it interesting. They've been on a serious slide. The ball outside to Kinsler. 2 up, 2 down here in the Tigers' 6th inning. They're leading 6-1. In on his hands that time, and it's fouled back. A.J. Ochter came in to replace the starter Swarzak in the 5th. Gave up a bases loaded walk, but after that he's retired 3 straight. 4 actually, if you count the double play that ended the 5th inning. It'll bounce away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Not very often you are drafted as deeply as Ochter was. The 46th round back in 2010. Here he is in the big leagues. Fouled away again.
That's when you have an area scout that has pretty much watched you play baseball for a number of years. They like your makeup. They like your character. They want to give you an opportunity to get into professional baseball, and give Ochter some credit because he has beaten all the odds and gotten himself to the big leagues.
And once you get to pro ball, you really can't have too many missteps, can you?
You cannot. Not when you're drafted in the 46th, 47th, 40th round. It's easier to send you home than it is to send those prospects home that you've invested quite a bit of money in.
Ochter coming into the season, 3.17 career ERA in the minors.
Oh, that's a reason why he's gotten a shot.
He saws off Kinsler again, and down he goes. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Ochter. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th here in Minnesota. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. We have the meats. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. It is a cool yet pleasant evening here in Minneapolis tonight. The Tigers Twins opening up a 3-game series in the Tigers' final road trip to regular season. George Schaefer leads it off, bounces the first pitch back up the middle. Here comes Romine. 1 pitch, 1 out. Schaefer now is 0 for 2. That'll bring up Danny Santana. What do you got on Max tonight? He's been awfully efficient.
He's on a mission. I mean, he's getting that ball back from Brian Holiday. He's getting right back on that rubber. He's working with a better tempo here today than he had his last couple of outings. It must be by design.
Well, it's worked so far. Santana single and a pop-up.
Ball 1. Watch him get right back on that rubber. It's all business today.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. 1-1 on Santana.
And he's got all 4 of his pitches working here tonight. The fastball's gotten up to 95. He's got some swings and misses with the changeup, curveball, and the slider.
Max in his last start against the Royals surpassed the 200 inning marker, and that's the second consecutive season now he's gone over 200 innings.
He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball if you go all the way back to the middle of the season in 2012. None have been better, not in the American League.
Bouncer back up the middle. Santana going to have his second hit of the game.
And he was able to throw that previous pitch, a fastball, right by Santana. Then he came back with a changeup, and Santana no doubt was looking for the fastball, but he got the barrel of the bat in front of home plate on the changeup and hit it right back through the box.
Second baseman, Brian Dozier.
It was Santana that got their first hit after Scherzer retired 9 straight. And now he's 2 out of 3. Brian Dozier stands in. Ball 1. Dozier has put the ball in the air twice. In fact, Scherzer's gotten quite a few of those in this game.
Yeah, Dozier usually makes most of his outs in the air. He does not hit into a lot of double plays. He plays every day, but he's only grounded into 7 double plays. Slightly uppercut swing. And here is the out to distribution on the evening for Max. 8 flyouts, 4 groundouts, and just 4 strikeouts, and the 4 strikeouts have allowed his pitch count to stay in the good shape that it is right now. He's only thrown 68.
Now he's gone 3-0. Dozier has become the first Minnesota Twin to score 100 runs in a season since 2006 when Michael Kadire did it. Here's the 3-0 he's taking, and it's ball 4.
That's the first walk of the evening issued by Max after issuing 7 walks in his last 2 starts. 2 starts ago, and he walked 4 against the Kansas City Royals 5 days ago. So the walks had been a problem for him in his previous 2.
So now Joe Mauer, who is flying out twice.
And here's one of those opportunities where Joe Mauer, who usually takes the first pitch, he might be swinging here, especially after Max just threw 4 balls in a row to Brian Dozier.
Right at the knees, a strike. He'll take it.
It's a good pitch by Max, and I had an idea that Mauer might be swinging, so he didn't throw him a fastball. He threw him a curveball. In case you're wondering, Joe's grounded into 11 double plays already this season.
One out single by Santana. Dozier a walk. Here's the 0-1. 0-2.
Good fastball. .93.
Scherzer has won each of his last 5 starts against Minnesota. Missed it outside, and Mauer would not go fishing. 1-2.
And Max reached back to get a little extra there. That heater at 95, one of the best fastballs he's thrown so far tonight.
Here's the 1-2. It'll get away from Holiday. Right through him to the backstop it goes. That'll move both runners up.
Brian Holiday was anticipating that changeup was going to be down because he got his body down. But what he did not do, did not get the glove down far enough. That ball got right underneath the glove.
So now a base hit by Mauer could tighten this one up. 2 men in scoring position. And only 1 out. Santana takes third. Dozier takes second.
And also double play taken out of order by that wild pitch.
Line drive toward the left. That'll go foul. Nice pickup down there.
Fully dressed down there.
Nice handoff too.
The ball boys. Khakis and collared shirts.
They do it neat here.
They do.
Two and 2 on Mauer. The only run in this game for the Twins, the home run by Arcia back in the 5th inning. And again the 2-2. Another foul back out of play. Kenny Vargas will be next for Minnesota.
And most of the Tigers outfielders are shading Mauer and toward left center field. If you're Rajai Davis, Torrey Hunter, he's over in right center field. And of course, JD Martinez anticipating that he's going to hit the ball in his direction.
Just off the plate. So Mauer now has run the count full at 3-2.
He was able to get ahead of Mauer with that really good curveball. I wonder if he has any confidence whatsoever in throwing another curveball here.
Another foul back out of play. Came back with a fastball.
Well, Joe's going to hit that fastball.
And they have been mid-90s fastballs. Mauer has turned this into an 8-pitch at bat.
And that's after falling behind, no balls, 2 strikes.
So all of a sudden the economical numbers of Max Scherzer jumped to 78 in terms of his pitch count. And the battle continues. Right back up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. That'll get 2 runs in. Joe Mauer wins that battle, and all of a sudden we've got a ball game. 6-3.
Well, the more pitches you see, the advantage starts to go to the hitter. Max threw him a lot of fastballs. He threw him a curveball. He also threw him some changeups. He finally tried to get him with the changeup that was fading away from Mauer. Mauer simply stayed with it and was able to hit it right back up the middle. It's not a horrible pitch by Max, but Joe Mauer, just a good hitter. Even though the numbers don't stack up career-wise this season, he is still a good hitter.
So the wild pitch puts 2 men into scoring position, and Mauer is able to cash them both in. 6-3 ball game now. Here's Vargas coming up. Tigers at one point led 6-0. Vargas to fly out and a ground out. Drilled to center field. That's a base hit. Mauer heads to second. He's going to third. Davis's throw comes back into second base.
Tom Brunansky is now in his second year as the hitting coach for the Minnesota Twins, and one of the things that they've done very nicely under him, they've been much more patient. I mean, look at where they rank in the majors, and walks are second. Pitches per plate appearance, that's also second in the major leagues. They also take a lot of pitches. They don't swing very often on the first pitch. Now, that's all fine and dandy. You got to get the guys on base, but now they need to find some guys to knock them in.
Well, here's Trevor Plouffe, and all of a sudden he becomes the tying run at the plate. Plouffe has some power. He's hit 14 home runs this season.
Well, third time through, they figured out some things on Max Scherzer.
6 hits in the ball game for Minnesota. First and third, 1 out. Plouffe a fly out and a strikeout. High fly ball right field. That'll send Hunter back. Mauer will tag and score. Sacrifice fly, and now it's a 2-run game.
All of a sudden we have a ball game.
The Twins have put together a 3-run inning.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it's brought to you by Xfinity. Top fastball thrown by Max, 95. He's done that a couple times in this inning, and then at bat to Joe Mauer.
There is activity in the Detroit bullpen. That would be Phil Koch. Here's Arcia with 2 outs. We've already seen how far he can hit the ball. Solo shot in his last at bat. He went for over 400 feet. It was his 18th of the year. And Max stays away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, it's really no fluke. You know, the fact that Minnesota's scoring a lot of runs here lately. And since August 1st, they've scored 217 runs as a team, which is the most in baseball. That's even more than the Tigers have scored since August 1st.
Big swing there by Arcia, who comes up holding his back. Ooh, that didn't look good at all.
These are all or nothing guys. He's going to get right back in there and see if he can shake it off. But he tried to hit this one further than he hit his home run a couple of innings ago.
Cool temps can't help that. 2 balls, 1 strikeout. Arcia. Swing and a miss.
He's still in pain. You can tell by that last swing. He's feeling it, whatever it is he's going through. I want him to step out of the batter's box. They're going to go check on him.
He just did not look good after that last swing. And really, I'm surprised they let him take the swing after the first one, when he really let it rip.
Here's the last swing. You can tell that he's just not able to finish, and the grimace on his face as well tells you all you really need to know. Might not be able to finish this at bat. They're going to let him stay. Talked him into it. If I was Max, I'd throw him another fastball up there right around the belt buckle just to see if he can catch up to it.
2-2. And Oswaldo Arcia. Got him, strike 3. Scherzer is able to carve him up, and Arcia still in pain to end the inning. However, it's become a ball game again, a 3-run inning, and it's now 6-4. fight back a little bit. 6-4 is our score. As our game summary looks like this. The Tigers offense 11 hits. 4.3 per game in their last 7 against the Twins. So the offense coming alive again. Tigers 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Rod. We talked about this at the top of the show.
Well, they showed up here at the right time. Not only here tonight, but really the entire month of September. Miggy, J.D. Martinez, and Victor Martinez have got a lot of hits.
And now Torrey Hunter leads it off. And Torrey looks at a strike. Third straight at bat that Torrey has led off an inning. It'll be Hunter, Cabrera, Martinez. Tigers trying to rebuild their lead. It's now 6-4. Drilled to left field. That'll get down, a base hit.
And you got a little hanging breaking ball there from Octor. Octor really hasn't made many mistakes since coming into the game, but that was not a good pitch. Torrey patiently waited for the breaking ball. They hit an absolute missile to left field for a solid single.
Tigers have their 12th hit, and there's more activity in the bullpen now as Ryan Presley warms up.
Ron Gardenhire is going to watch this one very closely. His offense has gotten them back into this game against Scherzer.
Cabrera skies one in the air to center, not deep. Schaefer started back. Now he'll come in and make the play.
Tigers need to have the kind of patient, consistent at-bats they had at the beginning of this game against Anthony Swarzak, where they had 11 hits against him and scored 6 runs before he left.
Here's Victor Martinez. Two more hits for Martinez, who is vying for a batting title this year. Whenever you get this close, I mean, you're a couple of weeks away from winning one. And he's at right now 333.
Victor has won a couple of batting titles, but he won those when he was a minor league player with the Cleveland Indians. He's been switch hitting since the age of 6. That's how you perfect both sides of the dish. You start young.
Think he's forcing little Victor to switch hit these days?
Absolutely.
Well, we just can't get Altuve to slow down. He came in at 339.
He is not slowing down. Over 200 hits already for Altuve.
Hit hard to right field, and it's going to be caught by Arcia. 2 gone. Yeah, Altuve 206 hits, and because of that, he has a 339 batting average. He's the only player in the American League with over 200 knocks.
Jose Abreu has had a fabulous season for the Chicago White Sox. Cano has done very well for Seattle.
Here is J.D. Martinez. Single, double, intentional walk for Martinez. Swing and a miss. Way out in front that time, 0-1.
That seems to be the only pitch that J.D. Martinez has an occasional problem with, that really slow breaking ball. Because he's sure not missing any fastballs these days.
Not at all. They travel a long way, too. Ball low. I was talking earlier about an article that Dana Wakiji wrote on FoxSportsDetroit.com about J.D. and one of the quotes was from Torrey Hunter, who said, you know, we used to watch J.D. take batting practice when he was a member of the Astros, and we always thought, why isn't this guy playing every day? And now the Tigers have gotten and improved J.D. Martinez. He is playing every day, hitting 5th in the Tigers lineup. But the one thing they saw in J.D. was his power to the opposite field and his ability to hit the ball out to center, right center.
But that was good in BP. Right. When a fastball is coming in at 65, 70 miles an hour. But because of where he was holding his hands a lot higher than he is right now, when he was in Houston, he wasn't able to get to those fastballs or stay back long enough on the breaking balls to create that same kind of power that he was driving the ball in BP with. But now he's able to do that.
Doctor will step off.
He said he started to watch a lot of video. He said he watched a lot of video on Miguel Cabrera. He said he also watched a lot of video on Ryan Braun, and he just kind of noticed the similarities in those two guys' swings, and the fact that both guys have been very consistent throughout their big league careers at where they hold their hands. So basically what he has tried to do is mimic those two swings as much as possible. And so far he's doing a real nice impersonation this year.
22 home runs, 72 RBIs after missing the first month because he was in the minor leagues. Outside, 2-2 now on JD.
You watch JD Martinez every time right now. He just takes that left arm and he just kind of tugs it close to his body. Once he gets that bat in his hand, just a reminder of keeping those, starting with your bat knob, starting with the elbow. He does it every single time.
Checked it and it missed outside. 3-2. 6-4 Tigers have the lead. Castellanos on deck. Leadoff single by Hunter, but he's still there with 2 outs. Hunter going and a bouncing ball to the right side of the infield. Long run for Dozier. He's going to have no chance. He's going to throw to third wildly, and Torrey very alertly gets to third base. It's going to be the third hit of the day for Martinez.
And Octor threw a breaking ball down at the bottom of the zone, and Dozier was playing way up the middle. And by the time Dozier got there, he was not going to get JD Martinez. So he threw over to third base, hoping that Hunter would round that bag too far, and they might be able to get him.
And here comes Ron Gardenhire. And he will take the baseball from A.J. Octor. Wall side windows pitching change. Twins go to the pen. We'll be back.
Threatening for more here at the Target Field. In this afternoon, out beyond center field, there was a very promising sight for the Tiger fans. Anibal Sanchez, who hasn't pitched for the Tigers since August 8th, was throwing off a mound for the first time since. He's been dealing with that strained oblique muscle. Brad Ausmus saying, based on where they are in the season, it could be that Sanchez, if he reports no pain tomorrow, it could be that he gets a chance to pitch or two, perhaps out of the Tigers bullpen. After all, he did win the ERA title a year ago. Mario, right?
All right, Keats, thanks. Yeah, that would be nice to see Anibal back in the Tigers mix somehow, some way. He's been so good for the Tigers over the years. New pitcher for Minnesota is Ryan Presley.
And Presley is pitching in his 20th game this year, logging 22 in the third innings. He's got a pretty good ERA as well.
Castellanos, a bases loaded walk in the 5th, forcing home a run. And Nick looks at a strike, and now it's 0-2. It's a key out here for the Twins. They have fought back to make it a 2-run game after falling behind 6-0. Tigers trying to rebuild that lead. Nick also has a single and a run scored. Checked it, and he went. And that'll be it. So Presley comes out of the pen, strikes him out on 3 pitches. Inning over. Coming up now, the Health Plus 7th inning stretch. Six-4 in favor of the Tigers. We're going to the bottom of the 7th now. Game 1 in this series here at Target Field. And Max Scherzer was cruising along 6-0 until Minnesota got 3 against him. They are right back in this ballgame now as Kurt Suzuki leads it off. It'll be the bottom 3, Suzuki, Parmelee, Schaefer in the 7th inning for Minnesota. Here's the 0-1. Get back out of play. Max retired 9 straight to start the game. Did not give up a run until Arcia hit the solo homer in the 5th. Then Mauer had a 2-run single in the 6th and a sac fly by Plouffe.
Great at bat by Joe Mauer, who was able to foul off quite a few 3-2 pitches.
Drill to center field, sinking. Rajai diving and making the play.
Rajai has been making some nice plays in center field the last number of games, whether it be going back or whether it be coming in, taking away base hits.
I mean, the Tigers really as a team have made some great plays, but Rajai's made a ton of them.
And this is a serious gamble here, because if this ball gets past him, that's a sure double, possible triple for Suzuki, because neither J.D. Martinez or Hunter would have been able to get there to prevent him from getting to third base.
I thought for sure off the bat that ball was going to fall in.
Rajai plays shallow. He's not afraid to play shallow in center field.
Parmelee fouls it back. So instead of the tying run coming to the plate here, there's 1 out, nobody on. Double play ball in his last at bat. Strikeout in his first at bat. Scherzer with the 0-1. Fly ball toward left, slicing. JD is on the move, and he'll get there. 1 step into foul territory, 2 gone. Well, as we promised you earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #DetroitFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T, and look who's in the fan photo tonight.
Oh, that's Max.
It is Max indeed.
And Louise.
Two up, two down. Here is Schaefer. Castellanos on the grass, tight at third base. And Schaefer looks at ball one. Schaefer's been a lifetime .230 hitter in the major leagues, but he does provide the speed element. Over 100 stolen bases in his career. Ball two. There's now action in the Detroit bullpen. Albuquerque has joined Phil Coke.
Albuquerque has been lethal against right-handed batters all year long.
Strike call, 2-1.
And Phil Coke, his best numbers are against left-handers.
Max right now at 94. Here is 95. It's a bunt. Tough play. Holiday, no chance.
What a great bunt by Schaefer.
There's that speed element we talked about.
What a perfect bunt. He deadened it just enough. I mean, Max went there, but he was not going to make the play, so he was called off by Brian Holiday, and by the time Brian Holiday picked it up, he took a look at Schaefer and simply ate the baseball.
So that will keep the inning going now for Danny Santana.
Schaefer has 14 steals. He's been caught a couple of times.
Strike call. Couple of hits tonight for Santana, both singles. He has scored a run. He's done a really nice job in their leadoff spot. .301 this year as a leadoff hitter. And that's going to knock the glove off the hand of Brian Holiday.
Knocked the mask off the home plate umpire, too.
Actually, that is the mask on the ground.
Oh, my God.
That buckled him. That would be Marvin Hudson.
I mean, you don't normally see the mask come totally off. Twins trainer taking a look at Marvin Hudson now. Well, he didn't pull out his index finger and wave it back and forth in front of his eyes.
No, he did not get the Avila test.
No, that's right.
That is pretty much a direct hit because really the velocity not slowed down all that much on foul tips. That goes straight back.
So Marvin Hudson is okay. 0-2 is the count on Danny Santana.
Schaefer may be on the move one of these next couple of pitches.
Now time called. Santana waiting for Max.
And the reason that he might be running is the fact that, yes, he would love to steal the base, but also if you're the Minnesota Twins and he happens to get thrown out, you still have your leadoff hitter leading off next half inning with a fresh count.
There he goes. Fouled away.
0-2, generally speaking, is not a really good count to run in because the pitcher basically will throw a fastball up there. It doesn't have to be a pitch out, but he could throw it high enough and away enough to where Brian Holiday, the catcher, could get out there and get himself in a very nice position to throw the ball down to second base. That's why you don't see a lot of guys running 0-2. Throw over one time.
And it's a snap throw from Max. 8 steals since late August the 21st, the most in the American League in that span.
He's got new life in a Minnesota uniform.
Boy, Max just whirled and let that one go. You don't normally see Max let it go like that, and he's done it twice in a row now.
Well, Max just continues to vary his times at when he decides to deliver the ball home. Sometimes he'll grab it and go. Sometimes he'll hold it for 3, sometimes 4 seconds before he pitches.
Runner goes again, and a ground ball just outside of the bag at third.
Schaefer really not getting a good jump, but he has just been given a green light and told to try to steal. You can see not a great jump.
Max now about to deliver his 100th pitch of the night. Fouled away again.
The last couple of innings have been quite stressful for Max. 25 in the 6th and 14 more here in the 7th.
Well, Santana's just been a hard out for the Tigers this year. He came in .341 versus Detroit pitching this season, and 2 more hits tonight.
Yeah, we didn't even know who this guy was before this year.
No. Escobar, he's not in the lineup, and he was hitting over 400. Pitch out, runner going. Here comes the throw from Holiday. Tag, got him. Tigers pitch out, and they nail Jordan Schaefer. Nice throw by Brian Holiday. Right on the money. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. And we'll go to the 8th.
Fast delivery of the game for the Tigers. They jumped on Swarzak, their starter, very fast in the 1st inning. They drove in a couple of runs there. Then in the 4th inning, they were able to plate 3 more, and that was the final inning that Swarzak was out there. He left after pitching just 3 in the 3rd innings here today.
So we go to the 8th inning. It is 6-4. The Tigers have a 2-run lead. Brian Holiday will start things off for Detroit. And Holiday looks at ball 1.
Yeah, Brian Holiday's got a lot of room down toward third base should he want to bunt in that direction. And Plouffe a couple of steps behind that bag.
If he's able to do it, it would be his 3rd hit of the game. Single double in this ball game. And he pops it up instead. Right side of the infield for Dozier. One gone. Bottom part of the lineup has done some pretty good work tonight. That'll bring up Romine, who in the 8th spot in this ball game has 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Average at 228 now for Romine. Presley came on to get the final out of the 7th. He goes to work here in the 8th. And Romine looks at a strike, 0-1. 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs allowed by Scherzer. 5 strikeouts in this contest.
At least 4 strikeouts or more in all 31 of Mac's starts this season.
Well, the 8th inning guy heating up now, so Jabba, it appears, will be coming into this contest.
It'll be the 3rd consecutive day that we've seen Jabba.
Ball high to Romine, 1-2. Scherzer was staked to a 6-0 lead, but they got him for a homer in the 5th and then 3 more in the 6th. And let's go down the left field line, and Romine continues his big night. He'll go to second with a double.
And Romine continues to play like this. And Brad Ausmus is going to be forced into continuing to run him out there at that shortstop position.
3-hit night for Andrew Romine. A big run standing at second base now, trying to extend a 2-run Tigers lead. Rajai Davis hitless tonight. Double play ball, pop-up flyout.
The second 3-hit game of the season for Andrew Romine.
Ball 1 to Rajai. Tigers now have a total of 14 hits in this contest. They came into this ball game leading the league in average and hits. Davis swings and misses, 1-1. Tigers also led the league in doubles, and they have picked up a few more of those tonight.
Tigers have a chance this year to have about 5 or 6 different guys with 30 or more doubles. They already have 3 guys.
They've out-hit the Twins 14-7 this evening. Now the 1-1. Bouncing ball to third, foul. 1-2 on Davis. First of 3 between these two teams. Porcello and Nolasco tomorrow, then Price and Gibson scheduled for Wednesday. Davis waiting on a 1-2. Thought about it, did not go, says first base umpire Corey Blazer.
And you said that Price was scheduled to go on Wednesday here against Minnesota, but there's some whispers around the ballpark here today that the Tigers may elect to give Price an extra day, which means he will start that Kansas City series on Friday. They would have Friday, they would be Max on Saturday and Porcello on Sunday, possibly.
Ball low.
Justin Verlander had some issues with a blister yesterday when he left the game, and I'm sure that's probably part of and going to be some of the decision-making process as they move forward the remainder of this week.
Yeah, Brad, before the ball game today, was not ready to name his starters for that Kansas City series because of some issues they're considering in the rotation. And so we'll have to wait and see. We'll know soon enough. Bouncing ball left side of the infield. Plouffe will charge. Rajai is out by half a step. Nearly beat it out. 2 gone now. Runner takes third. Let's check in with John Keating with a preview of tonight's Tigers Live.
Yeah, the hope is that there are big cheesy smiles in the Tigers clubhouse after this one. As always, you'll hear from Brad Ausmus, you'll hear from Max Scherzer and any of the other principals involved as the Tigers try to take game 1 of the series from Minnesota. They begin this big week from Minnesota on to Kansas City. But these games against the Twins are easily as important as the weekend set against the Royals. Tigers Live, Justin White, Craig Monroe, our Call Sam Studios. Coming up, guys.
All right, John, thanks. We look forward to it. Hopefully, as you mentioned, with the cheesy smiles in the locker room.
Well, of the final remaining 13 games the Tigers have, 7 counting tonight against Minnesota. Right. So Minnesota's going to have some say into whether the Tigers can finish this thing off or not.
And as we talked about earlier, even though they're 63 and 86, the Twins have played the Tigers even up this year in the season series. Kinsler takes a strike. Looking for a big 2-out hit here to give the Tigers another run. Romine at third. It has been a hitless night tonight for Ian. Way high. 2-1. Kinsler with a check swing roller off the glove of Presley. Will he have time? He is out at first base.
Nice job by Presley, the pitcher.
It'll be an 0 for 5 for Kinsler. His last 3 are 1-3 putouts. Well, the Tigers strand a runner, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning here in Minneapolis. 6 runs on 14 Tigers hits. 4-7 for the Minnesota Twins. Jabba Chamberlain coming on now for Detroit.
And Jabba Chamberlain, as we mentioned, has pitched in the last couple of days, finishing off that series against the Cleveland Indians, and he threw a total of 29 pitches the last 2 days.
He'll be in charge of protecting a 2-run lead here in the 8th, and he's going to have to face the top of the lineup. Well, if the playoffs were to start today, and they don't, but if they did, here's what it would look like. The Tigers, Rod, would take on the Orioles in the first round. That would be the DS, the ALDS. The Angels have the best record in the American League, so they would be the top seed.
Angels playing some tremendous baseball and really have since the second half of the season, but the Tigers have kind of had the Baltimore Orioles number this season.
So Chamberlain goes to work now. Santana was at the plate when Schaefer was thrown out trying to steal back in the 7th.
Yeah, he had 2 strikes on him, so now he's got a fresh count. That's why they really weren't all that concerned with the fact that Schaefer did get thrown out. They still have their leadoff hitter up there now in a fresh count.
And he's 2 out of 3 tonight. They're tight at third base. Castellanos on the grass, and Jaba's gone 2-0.
I like the idea by Jaba going upstairs with back-to-back fastballs to get Santana to pop up, but Danny did not swing at either pitch.
Ball 3.
Not good. You can't walk this guy.
Dozier on deck. That's in there, a strike, 3-1.
Tigers bullpen in pretty good shape. A couple of starts ago, David Price went very deep in the game. Max going rather deep today.
Jaba now has fought back to make it 3-2. Dozier and Mauer to follow here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the 3-2. He walked him. Lead off base on balls, and Santana's on for the 3rd time. Hey, Saturday MLB returns to Fox as the Tigers and Royals square off in a crucial AL Central showdown. Then on Fox Sports 1, the NL Central leading Cardinals take on the Reds. The action starts at 12:30 Eastern on Fox and continues at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Well, Jaba just has to make sure he does a nice job of limiting the jump that Danny Santana might try to get to steal his 16th base of the year. Santana's been caught 4 times.
Dozier has a base on balls and a run score that came back in the 6th. And he watches one sail outside, 1-0. Phil Koch now is back up in the Detroit bullpen. He was warming earlier.
He'll be getting ready for Joe Mauer.
In there, a strike. 1-1.
Generous strike.
Scherzer goes 7. Jaba takes over here in the 8th. It's a 2-run game. Tigers at 1 point led 6-0 tonight, but the Twins refused to go away. And they got 1 back in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. And Chamberlain again goes back to the bag at first. Santana diving back in there.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when Mauer does come up. Mauer hitting over 500 against Jaba Chamberlain, and he hasn't done very well against Phil Koch. He's only 4 for 20 against Phil.
Now it's 2-1.
But usually your 8th inning guy is your 8th inning guy.
Right, exactly. And so it would be interesting to see what would transpire.
These games are so important, and we also talked about the fact that the last couple of days Jaba has worked in those contests.
So the numbers against Koch from Mauer not all that good. I guess a lot of that would depend on what happens here. If you get Dozier to hit the ball on the ground, it might not matter.
Yeah, it would be the 8th double play grounded into this year by Dozier.
Here's the 2-1. Outside. Now it's 3-1.
Jaba just having a difficult time of finding the strike zone.
And he'll take 3-2 now. The count filled.
He's to the point now where he feels more comfortable throwing his breaking ball, whether it be the slider or the curveball, in fastball counts.
Lost in ball 4, and now the Twins have the tying runs on with nobody out. We're getting our answer. The Yankees going to bring Phil Koch in. So Chamberlain will face 2 batters, throw 12 pitches, and walk both of them. And Phil Koch is going to be called into this game to face Joe Mauer. And that's it for Java. 2 batters, he is out. Will step aside and return to Minneapolis. We play here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 on for the Twins with nobody out. Joe Mauer is set to face left-hander Phil Koch.
Yeah, Phil Koch has done some nice work overall this season against left-handers, but he's really done some nice work against Joe Mauer. In 10 of the last 11 at-bats, Phil Koch has been able to retire Joe.
Mauer is batting .248 versus left-handed pitching this year. And .285 against righties. And so Koch comes on after the back-to-back walks issued by Chamberlain. And the Twins have the time runs on, the go-ahead run at the plate.
Phil Koch's got that fastball anywhere from 93 all the way up to 96. Really good breaking balls when he gets on top of those, and he gets some depth away from the left-handed batters. He also will throw the right-handers an occasional changeup. Not many changeups to the left-handers.
Mauer had a 2-run single back in the 6th. And Koch will have to get through the middle of the lineup here. First one is in there for a strike at 95 miles an hour.
They've got some speed on the base paths as well, and Santana, their leadoff hitter, with 15 steals, and Dozier, he has at least 20 this year, but not very smart to run here with Joe Mauer in the batter's box.
Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike on Mauer.
And there's that fastball thrown by Koch at 96.
Mauer now with 48 RBIs. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Runners go. Here's the throw down to third, not in time. A double steal. How about the Twins running?
Well, Phil Coke really was not paying that much attention to Santana, and we just brought up the fact that they've got some speed on the base paths in Santana and Dozier, and they gambled and he stole the base with the left-hander up there in the batter's box. Santana might have knew as well that a breaking ball was coming. He's a middle infielder, and a lot of times middle infielders can look in and see the signs, and they can tell exactly when a breaking ball was coming. So it does not surprise me that he took off on that curveball.
A sizable gamble there, and now a base hit could tie it up. Now we're waiting on a 2-1. In there for a strike, 2-2 on Joe Mauer, who didn't like the call by Marvin Hudson.
You don't see Joe Beef very often.
Kenny Vargas on deck. Nobody out, second and third for Minnesota. 2 walks and a double steal. That's low, and now the count will fill at 3-2.
Well, we told you earlier that second in the majors are the Minnesota Twins in walks this year. And the first 2 guys that have gotten on in this inning both walked.
Foul.
And Joe Mauer throughout his major league career has been simply outstanding with runners in scoring position. A .329 batting average and over 1,100 at bats.
Albuquerque warming up, so is Kyle Ryan. A righty-lefty combo. Joba Chamberlain started the inning by walking the first 2 batters. Bauer fights off another one as again Coke pours in another mid-90s fastball.
And Phil Coke making some really good pitches at 95 on the inside black, but Bauer able to foul them off.
Joba right now hoping his bullpen mates can pick him up. Coke again ready with a 3-2. Another foul down the left field line.
And Joe Mauer had a really impressive at bat his last time up against Max Scherzer, the Tigers starting pitcher here. And tonight he saw 9 pitches in that at bat, and he finally singled up the middle.
He's got 8 more in this at bat. He's just fouled off 3 consecutive mid-90s fastballs.
Well, you just wonder if Phil Coke has enough confidence in going with one of his secondary pitches here. Brian Dozier out at second base, their base runner. He's got such a huge lead on any base hit. He's going to score easy without a play.
Soft line drive to left. That's a base hit. 1 run scores. Dozier rounding third, and he will score as well. And the Twins, on another clutch at bat from Joe Mauer, have tied the game.
Well, Joe Mauer may not be having the kind of season he's had in the past where he was winning batting titles. He also won an MVP, perennial all-star. But let's take a look at how Phil Coke goes after him. He takes the first pitch, which he does a lot of. And then Phil Coke able to get ahead of him with 2 strikes on a good fastball inside. And this is where Joe Mauer went to work. He worked at the 3-2, then he fouled off several really good fastballs by Phil Cook before finally lofting one right over the head of Nick Castellanos for a single and his 4th ribby of the day.
A 6-0 Tigers lead has disappeared. 4 RBIs and 50 for the season now for Mauer.
Well, since August 1st, no team in the majors have scored more runs than the Minnesota Twins. So them scoring a bunch of runs here tonight, really nothing new.
Here's Vargas, and he looks at ball 1 outside. So the 2 walks here in the 8th have both come around to score. Still nobody out.
You just did not expect him to score 6 in a start where Max was the starting pitcher for the Tigers.
Vargas a single and 3 at bats. Checked it. Did not go. So says Corey Blazer. Now it's 2-0 on Vargas.
And nobody out in the inning.
Mauer now represents the go-ahead run. Lifted back out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike on Kenny Vargas.
And Vargas, a big body guy. He hits lots of homers. At least he did while he was in the minors. He's already hit 7 in the big leagues in limited playing time, but he has also grounded into 5 double plays.
He's been much better left-handed. 320 from the left side, only 236 from the right side. But Vargas this year, 35 RBIs in 41 games for Minnesota.
That's some serious production.
And straight up from Double-A.
That's the difference in playing for a losing organization and a winning organization. Stephen Moya had 35 homers down in the minors and drove in over 100 runs, but he can't get off the bench for the Tigers. But Vargas plays every day.
Vargas swings and misses.
Real good breaking ball there thrown by Phil Coke. Did not have the confidence to throw that pitch to Joe Mauer, or at least he felt like the fastball was the best pitch to throw to Mauer. Mauer was able to fight off one for a base hit. Can't throw a better breaking ball there than that one.
Swing and a miss. And down goes Vargas. First out of the inning. Coke with a big strikeout.
Opposing teams have figured out that Vargas will chase some breaking balls that are down. And Phil Coke was able to exploit that weakness on the last 2 breaking pitches.
He's going to bring Brad out again, and it looks like he'll go back to the bullpen with Trevor Plouffe coming up. Looks like they want Albuquerque here. Go-ahead run remains at first base. That'll be it for Coke, and another pitching change here in Minneapolis.
Twins tie score 6-6, and here's a call. Sam, call of the game. It happened back in the 6th inning.
Drill to center field, sinking. Rajay diving and making the play.
Rajay has been making some nice plays in center field the last number of games, whether it be going back or whether it be coming in, taking away base hits.
Well, it's going to be Al Albuquerque taking over. That play by Rajay Davis certainly helping out the cause, but the bullpen has given up a couple of runs here in the 8th.
And last 21 games for Albuquerque, he's turned in his best work, a sub-1 ERA.
Ground ball, base hit, left field. Mauer will go to second. Albuquerque throws one pitch, and it's a base hit for Plouffe.
Well, if you're Trevor Plouffe, you knew if Albuquerque threw you a first pitch fastball, you had to be slashing at it. In which he was. Albuquerque was not able to get to the slider against Trevor.
First and second now, one out. Go ahead run is moved into scoring position. That's Joe Mauer. Now Arcia coming up. He had a long solo home run back in the 5th inning. Comes Brad Ausmus again. They have the left-hander warming up in the bullpen. And Jim Johnson, the right-hander, has joined Ryan. Ryan's going to come into the ballgame, so Brad Ausmus will bring in a rookie here with Arcia coming up.
And Brad playing the matchups.
And we'll step aside again. Another pitching change here in Minneapolis. We'll be back. From around Big League Baseball, Clayton Kershaw, the first 19-game winner this season. He's just been absolutely unbelievable.
He's going to get some serious consideration for the MVP in the National League as well.
The Angels and their 10-game winning streak snapped last night against Houston. And the Marlins, 1-2 record, 2.3 runs per game since Giancarlo Stanton's injury.
And Stanton, 37 home runs this season, likely over.
So here in Minneapolis, it is a 6-6 ball game. The Tigers have brought in Kyle Ryan, and he will face Eduardo Nunez, who will pinch hit for Arcia. And Nunez takes it outside 1-0. So Ron Gardenhire counters with his own move. Nunez off the bench to face the left-hander. 2 on and 1 out. 6-6 tie here. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's grounded towards short. Romine to second, one relay. There's a double play. Boy, Kyle Ryan steps out of the bullpen and gets it done. 6-4-3. Just in the nick of time. Inning over. We go to the 9th. Our score, 6 runs, 14 hits for the Tigers, 6-9-0 for the Minnesota Twins. They've made some changes now defensively. Schaefer will move to left field, and Danny Santana is going to go from short to center. And the right fielder is Parmalee, who moves over from left. And the new shortstop is Nunez. He stays in the game. He just bounced into a huge double play. Now the Tigers have to get the bats going again. They will face the former Tiger, Casey Fiend.
And Casey Fiend, for the most part, will come at you with a lot of fastballs, either the four-seam fastball or the cut fastball. He does have a slider, but does not throw it very often.
So Fiend will have to face some pretty good hitters here. Hunter Cabrera Martinez in a tie ball game, and a swing and a high fly ball to left field. Ball is hit well. Schaefer going back, and it's gone. Torrey Hunter has given the Tigers the lead, 7-6.
Torrey Hunter has worn out his former team, the Minnesota Twins, whether it be wearing a Los Angeles Angels uniform, now a Detroit Tigers uniform.
Oh, Torrey comes up huge with number 16.
Well, he tried to sneak that first pitch fastball by T. Hunter, and T. Hunter wasn't having any of that.
So the tie didn't last very long. Tigers up by a run, 7-6. And Cabrera has a big swing, 0-1. 78th RBI as well for Torrey. So the big double play that Kyle Ryan gets. And now a drive off the bat of Miguel Cabrera to deep left center field. And that ball is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Tigers.
I see you, Miggy.
So much for the tie ball game. Miguel slow stepping around third with number 23 on the year.
Yeah, he was slow stepping.
8-6 Detroit. How about that for quick strike? 2 lightning bolts, home runs by Hunter and Cabrera. That'll fire up the bench once again. It's the 8th time this season the Tigers have gone back-to-back. Casey Fiend doesn't know what hit him.
He sure doesn't. What an outstanding day by Miggy today. Double, single, homer.
See if Victor joins the party. Bender drops in for a strike.
Yeah, they forced Fiend into putting a wrinkle in one.
A couple of 400-foot home runs, 400 plus. Victor, an RBI double in the ball game, takes it outside, and the count goes 1-1.
Looks like Joakim Soria is up in the Tigers bullpen, not Joe Nathan.
Joe's gone back-to-back days and apparently will not go 3 days in a row. Slice toward left field, straight at Schaefer, and that is the first out of the inning.
And Miguel Cabrera just continues his torrid month of September. That's a little hanging breaking ball that Miggy was able to flip out of the ballpark. That's the 6th home run Miggy's hit in the month of September.
Well, it went from blowing a 6-0 lead to getting that bench excited again on back-to-back home runs, and Ron Gardenhire wearing a path out from the home dugout. Casey Fiend will last only 3 batters, and he will be taken out of this game. Twins will bring in a new reliever, and that'll be Michael Tonkin, who's been warming up. So they bail out Jabba Chamberlain. Gave up the walks, which eventually came around to score and tie the game. But the Tigers, well, once you get late into the ball game, and this month especially, they've been really good.
Well, it helps. So when you have a veteran team and guys that can put together a really good at bat, not press late in games, and that is just some further proof of that. Well, Ryan sneaking in there, throwing a double play ball, putting himself to the line to win this game.
You know, it's going to be perhaps the forgotten part of this game because of the clutch home runs, but you're right, that double play ball ended a big rally for Minnesota. And now he is indeed in line for the victory. Kyle Ryan doing a really good job at getting the ground ball. Well, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcast, the MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Get the at bat app for your smartphone or tablet in the App Store, or visit MLB.com. So now the Tigers find themselves up by a couple of runs, 8-6 here in the ninth. Michael Tonkin is the new pitcher.
And Tonkin pitching in his 20th game in the big leagues this year. The ERA is over 5. 13 strikeouts, 6 walks. He's given up 3 earned runs this year. And to the Tigers in just 2 2/3 innings.
JD Martinez has had a huge night. Single, double, intentional walk, and another base hit. Been on base 4 times tonight, but make no mistake. The key deliveries late. The double play ball picked up by Kyle Ryan, and the home runs by Hunter and Cabrera.
Yeah, we were talking about the Tigers hitters doing damage late in games. None better than JD Martinez this entire year. The majority of his home runs have come 7th inning or later.
Strike called in the outside corner. 16 Detroit hits in this ball game tonight. Make it 0-2 now. Twins have the bottom of their lineup due, and we get to the bottom of the ninth. Ball high. So Joakim Soria now is warming up in the Detroit bullpen. It appears he will come on and try and get the save. He's no stranger to that. And JD swings and strikes out. Two away. And bring up Castellanos. Nick 1 for 3. He's also walked in this game, and he rolls one off his foot. Hunter, Cabrera with back-to-back home runs. They have untied this game in a hurry. And neither one of them cheap, man. Both over 400 feet. Of course, it's hard to hit a cheapie in this ballpark. There's a ball outside to Castellanos, 1-1. Fouled back out of play. 1-2 on Nick.
Yeah, big arm that Tom can have. That was a 95-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by him.
Well, Gardenhire's had to go deep into the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Castellanos is out. So are the Tigers. However, we are no longer tied. As we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, the Tigers take the lead on back-to-back home runs to start the inning. Torrey goes deep, and then Miguel follows suit. 2-run Tiger lead. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. By Wallside Windows, the official window company of Fox Sports Detroit. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Well, the Tigers have the lead once again. 8-6 is our score, and the clutch home runs by Hunter and Cabrera. Got some changes now. That is not Don Kelly. That'll be Rajai Davis out in left field. He will slide over as, there we go, as Ezekiel Carrera takes over in center field. New look to the Tiger outfield. There's Don Kelly at third base. And Joaquim Soria is the new pitcher as he starts it off in the bottom of the ninth with a strike call to Suzuki. Parmalee, then Schaefer, 7, 8, 9 facing Soria.
Well, the Tigers knew there would be days where Joe Nathan could not be used in the bullpen. One of the reasons why they acquired Joakim Soria, and the fact that he was having good numbers in Texas.
There's a base hit down the line, maybe more. Suzuki is motoring to second, and the throw is going to be late. It's a leadoff double.
Well, one thing about the Minnesota Twins, and you brought this up earlier, they play the Tigers very tough. It doesn't really matter what the score is. Here's a fastball away from Suzuki that he just hit right down the right field line past Miguel Cabrera for his 30th double of the season.
So Chris Parmalee will step in against the right-hander. It is Suzuki's second hit of this ball game.
Well, Jalen Chamberlain, he pitched in back-to-back games on Saturday and Sunday, but he only threw 29 pitches. Joe Nathan, he threw 42 pitches the last 2 days, so that's why Brad Ausmus staying away from him at least the start of this ninth inning.
Parmalee, 0 for 3, double play ball in his middle time up, and he looks at a strike 0-1.
Soria's got an assortment of different pitches. Even though a closer, he's got 4 or 5 different pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, change. He'll cut the fastball as well.
Missed it outside that time. 1-1 on Parmalee. Schaefer waiting on deck. Leadoff two-base hit by Kurt Suzuki. High fly foul down the left field line. Davis gives a look. Missed it outside, stayed away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Parmalee. Swing and a miss. Parmalee is dispatched. First out of the inning, a strikeout there for Soria.
It's a good fastball there by Soria, thrown right by Parmalee.
We'll get a pinch hitter now for Schaefer. He will not bat. Osmil Pinto will. 1 on, 1 out.
Pinto with 7 home runs has a lot more power than Schaefer does, and that's exactly what Ron Gardenhire is hoping for. He's hoping that Pinto can run into one.
Bouncing ball left side. Kelly cuts it off, checks the runner. Nice play by Don. 2 gone.
And Don Kelly just put in there for a defensive replacement and takes about 4 or 5 steps to his left, cuts in front of Romine, and makes a nice play to get Pinto.
We see there why Brad Ausmus brings Kelly in late in games to protect the lead. Nice defensive play at third. 2 outs, going to be up to Santana for the Twins.
As long as they don't get to Joe Mauer, we're okay.
Yeah, that would not be good. Strike 1. Santana had the walk to lead things off in the 8th when the Twins tied it up. Been on base 3 times tonight.
It's a nice luxury for the Tigers to have someone like Soria on days where Nathan can't go, you can go to someone else that you really trust in that bullpen to come in and preserve the lead for you.
Strike call.
Somebody that's been there, done that.
Yeah, Joaquin missed about a month, but it's good to have him back in the back end of that bullpen, and he is one strike away from shutting this one down.
Yeah, there was a time when he was closing games for the Kansas City Royals. There were only a few closers better than Soria.
Low, and Holiday is able to block it. 1-2. That is tap foul right at home plate. Tigers gave up a couple of pretty good prospects to get him. Corey Knebel, Jake Thompson. Knebel pitched in the big leagues this year for the Tigers. Thompson was a minor leaguer, but Soria is a guy that is a veteran that, as we've talked about, has saved quite a few games.
And Tigers really liked Corey Knebel, but they had to give up something to get something, and they had gotten to the point during this season where Dave Dombrowski really had to help the bullpen out.
Missed it outside.
We haven't seen Soria throw that really slow eephus pitch that he just threw there to Santana, but we used to watch him throw that pitch all the time to some of the Tigers hitters. It seemed like he always threw it to Miguel.
2-2 Danny Santana. Runner at second, 2 outs. Tigers by 2 in the 9th. And he stays alive, barely.
And Kansas City Royals have tied the Chicago White Sox in Kansas City. It is now 3-3. That White Sox bullpen is dead last in a lot of different categories in the American League, so you didn't expect it to hold up.
Missed again. Soria just outside and low, and now the count fills 3-2.
But if you're the Tigers, all you can do is handle your business.
Soria ready with the 3-2. Instead, he'll whirl towards second.
Yeah, Soria has thrown a total of 15 pitches in this inning, and 10 of those strikes.
Sliced to foul back out of play.
Yeah, do they foul off a lot of pitches?
Don't they, though?
They're just pests.
8 pitch at bat. Fairly wild pitch by Jake Petrichka scored Gerard Dyson from second to tie that game. And again the 3-2 and a ground ball to short. Romine to his right, and his throw is in time, and the Tigers come into Minneapolis and win game 1. It took back-to-back home runs in the 9th inning by Hunter and Cabrera, and now the Tigers right now lead KC by 2 pending the outcome of their game. The Royals, as we mentioned, are tied in their ball game with Chicago. But Joaquin Soria does the job out of the bullpen. And the Tigers win this one tonight, 8-6. We'll be back.